turn and look at Constructura O.A.S. more closely. Why not? Now, how do they function as a company with their own workers? I mean, that should tell a lot about them. Well, employees of Constructura O.A.S., or O.A.S. for short, have been protesting for months at a time, protesting for better terms of employment, especially wage increase. That's right, they were never satisfied with the less than minimum wage which they are being paid. Now, over 300 workers protested, and these workers even enlisted the help of a union, Oil Field Workers Trade Union, also known as OWTU. Well, look at the huge increase, right? Instead of $24 per hour, which is what they were being paid, oh wow, they were given $25.44. Wow, a whopping $1.44 TT, meaning a 6% increase. Okay, this is basically slave conditions, and it has become the norm in modern society today. Did you know that $24 TT is approximately only $4 US? This kind of corruption is a worldwide phenomenon, and we must remember that Portuguese Brazil has not only had a positive history of culture, but they have also had a very negative history of being the first traders of African slaves to the New World. Is Constructura O.A.S. currently dealing in what can be seen as modern day slave trade of their workers? I believe so. It is said that those who do not know history are doomed to repeat it. Perhaps there is worth to that statement. But the corruption does not end there, my friends. O.A.S. itself has been questioned for alleged bribes to politicians in several Latin American countries. And they have also been accused of lacking in care for social and environmental effects of their construction. Well, that means that they fit right into constructing this segment of this highway. After all, the EMA and others connected don't seem to care at all for social and environmental effects. They reportedly negatively affected more than 25,000 families in Ecuador. They undertook massive fraud in Peru, and this wonderful company called Constructura O.A.S. even ignored health and safety regulations in Chile. Well, look at how famous these people are. Now, I'll tell you what made them extremely suspicious. There's so much work in Brazil that they could be doing, and they should be doing, as a Brazilian company. But yet, they are working in Trinidad, of all places. Now, this makes us question the real reasons behind them being chosen. Is modern society truly not about how well you do something, but rather who you know? Is that what it's come down to? To get your foot in the door. Oh, it's not about how good you are, but about how good you can connect, how good you can sell out. As we said in the beginning, the government abandoned an original French international agency whom they were using to finance the highway project. And they instead financed, as you remember, from an overdraft of the Treasury. So this means that they did things much more privately and shadily instead of publicly. Now what this comes down to is that they chose a contractor, and the contractor didn't even need to prove to the government that they could even do the job that they were being awarded. Awarded a contract, for huge money. This means that the government ignored international guidelines for handing out these jobs worth so much money. And this is known as procurement processing. Did they go this route so that they could go above the law? The Inter-American Development Bank, also called the IADB, or the IDB for short, reportedly refused our government financing in the first place, remember? Now you probably wonder how it is we know that, and can we prove that that is exactly what happened? Well, this cannot be proven by any documents we know of, but the highway reroute movement can confirm it based on information from past Minister of Finance Winston Ducaran. Confirmed it. If we remember, the IDB expressed clearly that given the existing road infrastructure, simply augmenting and repairing the roads would be much more feasible. But did the government listen to that? No. So, what must be said here is that O.A.S. was not awarded this job in a sole selective tender. That's right. Let's look at it closely, Trinidad. There were 3 bids for the job from local contractors, but the government refused to break up the work involved, which would accommodate some of these local contractors. Instead, they ignored all of our local contractors completely and combined the entire highway into one big mega project. This not only made O.A.S. rich as hell, but it also eliminated all of the local contractors because none of them were big enough to do the entire mega project themselves. Way to go, government! The entire project would have been completed even faster if they had divided and shared the wealth to local contractors who would each take on separate segments individually. But no, we are not about progress, and neither is this highway segment. It's all about profit. Jack Warner pushed this award of this job to O.A.S. without much opposition from the People's Partnership Cabinet. Oh well, I'm sure that they wouldn't mind saving a lot of money and gaining and profiting a ton of money illegally. The IDB saw very clearly and made it very clear that the ways that the government was using to give companies like O.A.S. the job and award these contracts was improper. The IDB even went so far as to say that the Debe to Mondesi segment of the highway was not necessary. No wonder the government took illegal measures. Where else but the Treasury would they ever be able to get that kind of money to make this highway segment happen? Nowhere. It all came from you, Trinidad and Tobago, you, the taxpayer. Alright, before getting back to the highway reroute movement, do you, the viewer, wonder more about why the government went with Constructura O.A.S? Well, to get deep into that, it is actually true that it is a well-known practice all over the world to hire independent contractors in places such as America, for example, to bypass certain spending. We want you to see how it is they save money illegally. Now, this probably looked appetizing to our corrupt government. Many times it has been found that the independent contractors were being hired so that the company involved, O.A.S. in this case, would not have to pay minimum wage, and therefore they could go lower than minimum wage, which is illegal. Now we already see that they wanted to go as low as they can go. So this should not be surprising. Many times these independent contractors are hired so that no one has to pay for unemployment insurance taxes or workers' compensation. These things go right out the window. Workers' compensation, what is that? That includes rights to any money for medical benefit to injured employees. And this is heavy machinery work that we're talking about, isn't it? So how important is it that they have rights like that? Very. And if they don't, we can only guess that it is very corrupt work and a corrupt company that we should get out of our country. hiring independent contractors can be a very good thing, but many people high up in society, many rich companies utilize it to do wrong, to save money where they should be spending money. Independent contractors can be hired to bypass paying any employees over time. Overtime money is very important. And all of this adds up to the company owners threatening to move their companies to China if this lack of finance is not accepted by the employees. How do you like that? If you don't agree to work for our pay, then we move your jobs to China, where they will work for that low pay that you are not willing to accept. In this way, they have blackmailed more and more people into working for unreasonable salaries. Becoming independent is great, and I myself am an independent contractor for my services in animation and video. But we see in modern society now that employees become known as reluctant entrepreneurs. And what this means is that these people are only independent out of necessity. These people are reluctant entrepreneurs because they are reluctant to be independent entrepreneurs. They are not choosing from a financially stable place to enter it. They are not choosing it at all. They have no choice and are being forced into it. And as you know, it is always recommended to have some financial stability before becoming an independent. But these people never get a chance at that and are pushed into being independent just so that they could be taken advantage of more. Remember, full-time employees deserve rights, but independent workers also deserve them too.